Welcome to the Freight Lane, where logistics meets leadership and high value equipment meets the agents who knew how to move it the best. Brought to you by Nationwide Equipment Transportation. Here we spotlight the strategies, mindsets, and behind the scenes decisions that help independent agents win the loads they want, keep clients coming back, and build a profitable book of business. Whether you're new in the industry or looking to level up with the right partner, you're in the right place. This week, we have our guest, Amber, and she's from New Orleans. So we're going to bring her in. I think I got that right. Amber, yep, I knew I had it
Yeah, I'm not
right.
from New Orleans though. Everybody likes to say New Orleans. I'm from Avoyles Parish. It's right. They call it Cajun or the country Cajuns, the
Okay.
prairie Cajuns.
Well, Louisiana, let's just rephrase that in Louisiana.
Yeah,
So,
New Orleans is
um,
crazy. I don't want to be associated with that.
I hear you. Yeah, I was just down there a month ago for a trade show. I had a great 24-hour visit and got out of town and came back home. So, yeah, it is crazy.
Yeah, good place to visit, not a good place to live.
Well, I appreciate you joining us today. And so let's just jump right in. Tell us a little bit about how you found logistics and what led you to the type of freight you specialize in.
Um, so I kind of just try to like not prepare too much for these, so I give a good honest answer. So about 8 years ago, I didn't know anything about trucking. I was just like a single mom working as a bartender. But I had met this guy while I was bartending and his wife that came in, and he was telling me that he was a freight broker and he was looking kind of for like a paper pusher, like
Mhm.
office assistant, just to send in invoices or track trucks and stuff. So I knew nothing about truck, and I couldn't even have told you what kind of truck was what or anything. But he just kind of threw me in there, and I guess it started because he had a customer that spoke Spanish and he didn't. So he kind of put me over that account after a few months. And me and that person, like, we just became like best friends. Like, I even went go fly out, and his wife watched our kids, and we went to these like office company parties and stuff.
Mhm.
But after a while he was just like, if you would just open up your own brokerage or become your own agency, I could be your customer. And then you could move the stuff because wasn't even talking to the Landstar agent at that point. So I pretty much, I don't want to say stole a customer, but I took him and it was willingly, and the agent didn't mind. And so I started that, and then just, I don't know, after like a year or two, I had like 9 customers, and I was able to quit all my jobs and work from home and
Nice.
live the dream of a stay-at-home mom, right? But it is really, it was serendipitous, I guess you could say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everything kind of happens for a reason, I think. And you mentioned that one client and that you were with Landstar working
Mm,
underneath an agent, but then you went
mm-hmm.
on your own as
Yeah.
an agent on your own, and you've gotten some other accounts, obviously. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
is there something you specialize in specifically, or do you just kind of find customers get referred to you, or are you still grinding the sales calls on the phone and stuff?
Honestly, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I have never made a sales call and it sucks.
That's awesome.
Yeah, every customer I've ever gotten has been through like creative means, I guess you could say. Like I'm just sitting at a table and I hear some guys talking about they need something to move. I see them wearing business suits. I walk over and give them a business card. Like I'm just always on like asking people if they need something moved. And you'd be surprised who already that has things to move or has connections that
Right.
they don't even know about. That's what I've found. Your mom, your dad, your friends, your cousins, all of those people, they know people. They just don't even know that they know them, if that
Right.
makes sense. And that's kind of been my strategy,
Okay.
honestly.
So you understand the value of building relationships then, and like
Yeah.
obviously the 5 degrees of separation that they talk about, where
Hmm.
just because you're talking to your sister, your brother, or your uncle or something about what you do, they might
Hmm.
be talking to somebody else who might be talking to somebody else. So your
Exactly.
circle of influence is pretty large, it sounds like, and that's amazing
Hmm.
that you haven't made a sales call. That's the first person I've
Yeah.
probably ever talked to that's like, I've never made a sales
I
call.
guess I've tried before to see what it was like, and I literally hung up because I got too nervous. I don't know. It's something about, something about asking somebody for something on the first time you talk to them, it don't work for me, you
Yeah,
know?
for me, I try not to ask for the business. I just do what I call curiosity selling, which I just
Yeah.
ask a bunch of questions up front, like on the discovery call. And so
Mm,
then they will want to come work with me because I sound like the expert or whatever. So that's just
exactly.
some ideas that you can use in the future. But so you don't really specialize in anything. You've just been referred
Oh,
to.
yeah, I do specialize. I'm sorry. I
Oh,
got
that's
sidetracked in hot shot, and it's mostly hot shot, and I do have some like hazmat chemicals that I move over the border
okay.
like every week. It's kind of
Nice.
like a trailer swap off.
Hmm.
So it's always going in and then the other one comes out. I keep track of the numbers and then they swap them out constantly.
Yeah, that's
Um,
like Landstar's thing at the border. I know they used to do that a
mm-hmm,
lot. Big training
mm-hmm.
at the border. So, what would you say is your biggest win or turning point in your career so as far as not just bringing that one client for you, but what has been one of the other turning points or clients that you brought on that kind of changed your book and changed your lifestyle? I guess really.
Honestly, I have a Broadway customer, so they do tours with these
Mm.
shows, and it's very passive because they want you to get a driver to go on a tour for 4 months, and they just pay them like $800 a day, whether they're driving or not. So, and then I just, I pay the driver 700. So I get $100 a day for nothing. And I just
Mhm.
send my little rate con at the end of the week.
Yeah.
And I think that's truly what like changed our lifestyle was because I wasn't checking my bank account before I buy a gallon of milk or,
Mhm.
I got to my daughter got to go to ice skating and we got a jacuzzi and a better car. I wasn't driving an old Impala from 99 anymore. I guess that didn't really start happening until about the fourth or fifth year though. So I think I was looking at my earnings from first year. Like the first year was like 20, second year was 40, the third year was 80, and then like this year it was like 150. So like it's really changed everything. Like I
Yeah.
try to tell everybody that I know, come be a freight broker so you can change your life.
It really
But
can, and that's amazing that you have
mm,
that kind of path. And really, when I
mm,
bring on agents to our company, I give them that same kind of path and try to explain to them that this could be if you put the work in and play the long game, which you have done. Is
mm-hmm,
that first year, yeah, maybe only 20, maybe 40 the second year, but really it's the third through the fifth year where you really make those big, huge leaps. And it's funny that you followed that exact same path. That's crazy.
yeah, and then like, I was trying to get some people on it. I did a little freight broker class in my town because my idea was, salespeople that are paying me to be my salespeople, and then I'll just help them, move the loads. But yeah, everybody like quit after the first month when they didn't make anything but $50. Like one girl made $100 off a load and then she stopped because it's just not sustainable if it's your only job at first
Yes.
or the only thing you're doing. Like I know for me, I had to do a lot of like freelancing on Upwork and stuff at the beginning to keep money because I did quit my job a little bit too quick at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, commission is not stable, so budgeting is super important, and I didn't realize that because I never had money to budget.
Right. You just
I
kind of
was
had to live
broke.
paycheck to paycheck and be broke. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
think we
was
all
telling my
started out
husband
there.
that. Yeah, I was telling my husband that I think we were happier when we were broke. Like, I met my husband 3 years into the freight brokering, and he does it now too, actually, because he was a trucker when I met him, and started talking to him about it, told him how much I made, and he was like, "I'm gonna try to get a customer." So he got one, but it's doing good.
That's awesome. And so is he working as a sub agent underneath you, or are you guys
Yeah,
just
that's what he's doing. I'm his boss. I like
nice.
that.
Yes. That's awesome. What's one unexpected skill outside of freight that makes you better at what you do? Have you ever thought about
Um, I think, well, the very first one would be Spanish because I am bilingual, so that is super, super helpful lately, especially because most of the drivers I get speak Spanish better than they speak English.
that?
At the border, when I have customs problems in the Mexican customs broker side, or just anything. It helps with everything. Besides that, honestly, I've always said that I'm weird, and so that it can help me or hurt me. Sometimes I get on a phone with somebody and we just click, and because we both weird, and then sometimes I get on the phone with somebody and they hate me. So that's another little thing, I guess. Like I'm a good icebreaker. I'm a good person to break the ice for everybody.
That's great. Yeah, that's awesome. I can definitely see that for sure. With you doing the Spanish and the Mexican border,
Hmm.
I'm kind of going to go off script here a little bit because I have a thought.
Yeah.
I know the Mexican trade lane is picked way up, and
Hmm.
cross border freight has picked up. It seems like with the tariffs. Have you seen that from?
Yeah, I was actually just in a meeting at 10 o'clock today with a guy that's trying to move some coffee from Guatemala into the US. And I don't even, honestly, I was like, I don't know if I even want to mess with this, because it's just so much, the tariffs, and also just everything's getting held up at the border. He had like 4 packages that they just lost, and nobody can tell you anything about it.
Well, it probably is part of the old boys network where you got to pay somebody to make it happen.
Yes,
So does the stuff from
exactly. Well,
Guatemala?
I ended up just. Mhm. Do what'd you say? I'm sorry.
Sorry, we kind of cut it into each other there, but like, it does the freight from Guatemala go ocean freight to Houston or something, or do they have a trucking route through Mexico?
I put that one on a truck because when he was putting it in the air, I found that he was getting it caught up in the customs way more often. So
Hmm.
we just like parceled it out. I know I just honestly there's no load board from Mexico, so I just
No.
know somebody on WhatsApp and I message them and I'm like, "Hey, I gotta pick up this coffee."
Oh wow.
But it's very kind of risky.
Hmm.
Um, it's very risky. Yeah. Anything you do in Mexico right now is a little risky.
Have
Anything
you had
south of
any?
Mexico City.
Have you had any loads that have been hijacked in Mexico? Because I know that's been a big
Oh,
problem.
I've had so many things. So with the hazmat loads, this was years ago, kind of cracked down on it now, but years ago we had the hazmat loads and it was the chemical, I believe it was in a double reefer. So, the two, and when one kicks off, the other one kicks on like a safety because it has to stay at a certain temperature.
Hmm.
Well, when they bring the trailers back, they had to make sure they was full of gas, and they had to take a picture of like the full gas tank and send it to me. Well, they was doing it, and then I was doing those loads like maybe 3 months at the beginning, and the manager calls me one day and says, "Look, we got to talk about these trucks." And I'm like, "What happened?" And he says, they've been putting water in the tanks and taking the gas that we have at the gas station because they had their own like little gas pump, the customer. And so they were stealing the gas and putting water in the reefer tanks of the highly combustible hazmat chemicals.
Oh my gosh.
And it goes to show that the driver really doesn't even know like what he's moving. He doesn't know the severity of it. And so that was just something that I cracked down because that's the root cause of it is that the driver doesn't know what he's moving.
Right.
So if you call and tell the driver, if you if that thing cuts off and you don't have gas in the tank, you're exploding.
Yeah, right. That's crazy.
Seriously.
That's a crazy story. I've been doing this a long time, but that's a good one for a
Oh,
story for a podcast for sure.
yeah.
So you've been doing it for 8 years, and you're looking for the future, obviously. But what changes do you see coming up in the industry that you're preparing for, and how are you trying to stay ahead of it?
Honestly, AI is my biggest thing right now because I get calls from AI. And then the other day I was calling a guy that had looked at my load on truck stop and he was like, "Damn, I thought you were AI." Because I said something kind of weird and he was like, "Damn, I thought you were AI. You sound like that AI lady." And so I'm like, how are they going to know it's real or not? What if somebody thinks I'm AI and I'm not and they like throw me to the
Mhm.
side or don't want to work with me? Like, that's scary.
Yeah,
And
AI is definitely something that is one coming for our jobs in some regards, but you deal with specialty freight, I deal with specialty freight. I think we're going to be just fine. But when you're dealing with, uh,
mhm.
100 truckloads between Dallas and Atlanta, for example, and
Hmm.
just copy and paste, you're
Like
probably
simple, straightforward stuff,
yeah.
right?
I
I
think
think
that,
that would be it because I don't
you
I have
know
so
that
much to say about
the
that.
problem. Yeah, yeah. You know the problems that we deal with on a daily
Hmm.
basis and how we're firefighters and problem solvers. So I don't see AI kind of taking hold of that.
Now for staying ahead of it, like honestly, I have been using it for like prospecting maybe. Like I'll be like, "Hey, give me a list of 20 manufacturers that have less than 10 people working for them that move, blah blah blah." And then I'll Google, and see if maybe like some truck drivers left some pictures of them drive, like other MC numbers. If I see a lot of different MC numbers there, I know they're probably using a broker.
Yeah, and
So,
I like the Google reviews too for
hmm.
shippers. When you look at those, and you can tell like this isn't a shipper I really want to do business with because there's
Exactly.
truck drivers on there complaining about how horrible they are, right?
Yeah, it's really, yeah. But,
But yeah,
um,
ChatGPT, looking up leads, things like that, that's pretty
mhm.
important for
Or
sure.
sometimes I'll use it like if I have some old, like warm leads that I haven't touched in a really long time, I'll be like, hey, this is their website, this is this, I want to reach back out to them. And it kind of comes up with something like creative, more
Sure.
creative, and I'll reword it and then I'll send it.
Yep,
And
100%.
be careful of those hyphens because as soon
Yeah.
as they see those hyphens, they know you used AI.
Right. Or the little emojis or the little special
Yeah.
characters or whatever. But yeah, that is a great tool to use for sure. Well, I appreciate Amber your time, your expertise in the industry. You're
Yeah.
doing it the right way, which is what I preach at my freight brokerage company. Having done this for 20 years, I'm all about trust, integrity, and doing it
Hmm.
the right way, and obviously communicating and being that firefighter problem solver like you are. I
Hmm.
appreciate people that do that and are similar to what we strive to be. And
Hmm.
so I thank you for coming on the podcast. We are not a very long podcast. We try to keep it short
I
because
know, so
we are
short.
we're a very busy industry, and I know people when they watch, 20 minutes is kind of like the max. But I really want to keep people on my podcast.
People's attention spans are getting shorter
Yeah,
and shorter.
it is for sure. But
Hey,
I
real quick,
appreciate,
what's the
yeah.
name of your brokerage?
Nationwide Equipment Transportation, NET. We have built our own platform. We have our own agency network. We have some crazy programs for our agents. $250,000 in margin for the year. We take them to Mexico for a New Year's Eve party. We just got back a couple weeks ago, so that was a lot of fun.
What's your
And
MC number?
I
Do you
can't give
know?
that to you on the podcast, but I'll
Oh
send it
shit,
to you on
okay.
email. If you give
Sorry.
NC numbers out over the phone, or
Oh,
online
I didn't
and stuff,
even know
like
that they could do
all the
that.
fraud people, man, they like to get crazy with
Oh.
it. So
Well, when yeah, after this, if you don't mind emailing it to me and maybe some more information, because I'm kind of looking for a switch.
yeah, no, I appreciate you coming on and giving me a little bit of history about yourself. That's exactly what I wanted, and we'll put this out. We'll edit it out and stuff like that, and my team will put it out on the internet, and we'll send it over to you so you can take a look at it as well. And
Yeah.
um, good luck. Have a great 2026. If I don't talk to you, hopefully I'll talk to you. But if not,
Mhm.
2026 is going to be a great year for freight brokerage. And there's a lot of big brokers going out of business. So you're
Uh,
in the right place at
that's
the right.
good. I'm
All right.
like, take them out.
Yeah.
All
Have a good
right.
afternoon, Amber. Take
Y'all
care.
too. Be careful.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thanks for tuning into the Freight Lane. If today's conversation inspired you or helped you think differently about the freight business, hit subscribe and share it with someone in the industry. We'll see you next month with more insights, more stories, and more ways to grow your freight brokerage. And we're here to help you out at Nationwide Equipment Transportation.